Hello, today is the day for Boris. It's the day that Nadine Dorries talks about it being a show trial. There are some interesting points about the trial or the hearing. He's going to have to swear on a Bible before it starts to tell the truth. That's going to be very difficult for him, I'm sure. But one of the issues in his testimony is that he thinks he's talking about his intention. The committee has decided that his intention is irrelevant. That's why there's this issue about him acting recklessly. If his intention is irrelevant, then they're looking at his thoughtlessness. His thoughtlessness alone can be a reason for being held in contempt of Parliament. It's an interesting first. And Boris's claim that he never knowingly misled Parliament is therefore dismissed as pure bluster from the outset. His friends would say this is an entirely novel concept. Miss Doris, Nadine Dorries, is really quite upset about it. She's put in her Twitter this morning that this committee is going to operate outside the law, going to abandon Erskine May and the conventions that provide the customary framework for Parliament to operate within. It's a free-for-all, she says. She calls it a show trial. And the Conservative editor of Conservative Home, Paul Goodman, on Radio 4 this morning, said that the programme had done a quick poll, and that their voters, the Conservative voters, did not like the inquiry at all. Boris is still an icon in the Shires, though, interestingly, support for him has gone down to about a fifth of the membership, and they still want him back in number 10. So Boris still has serious grassroots support, though not as much as he had a few months ago. That is interesting. His support is beginning to wane. But not, of course, I was going to say on the backbenches of the Conservative Party. Those backbenches have moved pretty well into television studios, so maybe they're not considered relevant either. I think this will be very interesting. I think this is the beginning of the end. And as with the fall of Mrs. Thatcher, as with the trial of Charles I, these are unique occasions. The country is putting its former leader or its leader on trial and is throwing them out in one way or another. Mrs. Thatcher, of course, didn't lose her head, but she did cry. And Boris Johnson, this is his comeuppance. I cannot see him getting out of this one, actually. I can't see him wriggling out with charm or bluster. It just doesn't compute.